What is up, everybody? Welcome in on this wonderful Sunday, October 23rd. Welcome in. It's Mikey Wang, aka Gundamonium Works, and we're just doing some more work on the 148 Black Aces Macross Valkyrie project. Let me know how my audio is doing. I got this new microphone here, so I'm trying to tweak the settings a little bit and see if it works out. Should be better than my previous audio issues. So, but anyway, like I said, I'm working on the base for the Valkyrie, doing some painting and masking today. I'm gonna do some show and tell of some recent tools that I've required and some nice new additions to the accessories and stuff that I do for model building. And so let's get started. If you're just joining in, let me know how the audio is. Hey, what's up, George? Good to hear you, man. Sounds good. Awesome. Yeah, one of the buddies over at the Robo Dojo group gave me this it was his old microphone, gave it to me for free. So it was nice to be able to upgrade without having to spend any money. That was always a wow. What's going on with your wife, George? It stinks. What stinks? You guys are just automatically chiming in right away. I don't know what's going on. So, well, I'm going to get started. I'm going to do a little show and tell. What I have here, first of all, is called Sharpen Air, and it is a airbrush needle, I guess, replenishment tool, I guess you could call it. It's to repair airbrush needles. I bought this off of USA Gundam Store. And hey, what's up, James? I guess that's Seidenberg. Yeah, that's James. How you doing, buddy? I bought this off USA Gundam Store. It's a little bit pricey, but I think I've already rejuvenated 3 airbrush needles, and I gave this to my buddy Angel to use, and he tried it out, and yeah, he was quite satisfied with the results. So basically, there's 4 ports here, and this is airbrush specific. So when you order it, it'll ask you, what brand that you're using, and there's 4 ports here for the needle, and there's basically some sanding stones inside that are precisely placed in order to help you rejuvenate the needle. And what I had, basically, I've got this old this is a spare now, but it's a 35.35 millimeter needle for my Awada airbrush, and that's pretty much all I use. I do have a Grex trigger, like a trigger type airbrush that I do use too, but Awada is pretty much the brand I use most of the time. So, like I said, when you order this, you'll have to order it based on which brand that you use all the time. And so, but all you do is you just insert it into into the hole here, starting on, which would be the right side if you were looking at it, and work your way down this way to the bottom, and it progressively gets a little bit more aggressive. So you just insert it until it bottoms out, and then just rotate it, spinning it about 20 times or so. And it works beautifully. Like I said, I did this I had my nice HPCS, which was, I didn't realize I'd bent the needle on it because I was cleaning the tip out one day with a cloth or something, and I didn't have the needle retracted, and it bent the tip. It didn't damage the nozzle, but what it was doing was it was creating a little hook. Excuse me. So I had a buildup of paint in the nozzle, and then I would get this glob of paint at the bottom, and it would start sputtering on me. So just after about 20 or so, take it out and move on to the next one. I'll be ordering one of those. It seems, yeah, they're awesome. I mean, it does save on. I figured in the long run, buying needles, replacement needles, is a lot more expensive than buying one of these. It's about $50, I think. So I'm going to the second hole here. And I'm not going to be able to show you on camera because it's obviously too small. See, but this was an extra needle that I had because it was bent, and I just hung on to it this whole time and then didn't throw it out. And I'm kind of glad I didn't, because now I've got an extra one. Once I dress this up, it'll be perfect. And after you do the last of the 4 here, last one, you should be able to see a noticeable difference. I gotta put my mags on here. I'm not gonna be able to see the end of this. So yeah, it polishes up the end really nicely and straightens out any tip that you might have. It also came with a little one of these little sanding sponges. Now I'm not sure the grit on this, but it's a pretty high grit. It's probably around 10,000. And then I just use that at the end to kind of wrap around it and just give it a couple of these, just like that. Yeah, and now it's perfect. So now I've got an extra needle that I can use anytime if I need it. I'll just put that back. So that's the first thing I was going to show you guys today. It's a little bit interesting with this new microphone because I do have headphones on. I've got a monitor adjustment, so I can actually hear myself speaking to you guys. It's going to take a little bit of getting used to, but let's see. Next up is my little tubing bender here. This I got from Hobby Link Japan, and it's a tubing cutter similar to what you'd see for copper tubing, but it's made for plastic. You can see right there. And I got this. I saw George using it, and I decided to pick one up. And it works just like a regular tubing cutter, but it's made for plastic, of course, and it works beautifully. And then another nice thing too is on the end here. If you pull this little red cap off, there's a chamfer tool built into it, so you can take your tubing and basically scribe in like a barrel tip or something. If you're making custom barrels or something like that for whatever project you're working on, you can chamfer the inside of that tubing and put a nice finish on it. Hang on, somebody's buzzing me here. Who's hitting me up? Sorry, just not feeling the best today. I don't know who's. Oh, is that Shauna? Who's Shauna? Is that somebody I'm missing? No idea if it's better than a regular one. You mean you're talking about the tubing cutter? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I haven't used it yet. I got it because I do some customization work, and I like having the right tools and everything like that. But I haven't tried it yet. I'm not sure if it works as good as a regular. I don't think that a copper tubing cutter has that chamfer tool on the end here. So this is specific to model building. So I think it's better for us anyway. So next up I got here is these rivets. And again, I got these from Hobby Link Japan. And they're basically little rivets that you can cut off and glue on to your various kits, and they come in different sizes. Each runner has about looks like 3 or 4 different size rivets, and some of these look like the head of a bolt, and then you've got other ones that are just a rounded type rivet. But you can cut them off the runner and glue them onto your various kits, and give yourself some added detail. Let's see if I can get a decent view of that. There we go. A little bit of. So this is the type that looks like an actual bolt, the head bolt, and then you can chop them off and glue them onto your kit, and paint them up. I think it would be good for some armor kits or something like that. But we'll see. I just got them, so I haven't applied them to any of our kits. Lastly, there's another thing that I saw George using the other day, and this is an angle guide set, specifically for plastic sheeting. If you're cutting angles, you want precise angles. This goes from 5 degrees all the way up to 90 degrees. Each one of these little pieces. So you got 5 up to 30 here, 35 to 60, and then 65 up to 90. And yeah, it's another nice little addition to the tool set. You know, if you're cutting some precise angles, if you're making multiple parts, or you want those angles to match, you've got a nice gauge, nice stainless steel brushed kind of a. It's like brushed steel. It's really, really nice quality, even though it is probably a Chinese product. But it comes in a nice package, nice little kit you can use. Yeah, those rivets are the bomb, aren't they, George? And you keep getting bugged every time you bring them up because people are seeing you use them, and they want you to put rivets on everything, don't they? So what I'm doing today is I'm going to do some masking. I've got some of the pieces of the. Well, actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to show you the base for the Hi Nu. That's finished. I'm going to go grab that real quick, and I'll bring it back and kind of do a quick overview of that, and then I'll get on to the base for the Valkyrie. So now you guys get to see my giant cookie. That's what my wife's been calling it. It kind of looked like a cake since I've been working on this thing. But so here it is. I don't have the model kit. I can't show you how it sits on here because I've got it all packed and ready to go on my trip. But you can see the hole here. This is where the crook rod goes in. Extends up about 12 inches or so. And then I did all this in hydrocal, lightweight hydrocal. Essentially, it's plaster. And there's a couple of rock forms, and then I glued them all together with some more of a liquid. You know, I mixed up a thinner batch and poured it over the seams, and had to fix some cracks because one of the things I didn't think about because of my inexperience with using this stuff was it does look like dessert, doesn't it? Damn rivet counters, right, James? Yeah, that's why we don't do tanks right now. So, but anyway, getting back to this, one of the things I didn't anticipate, and I should have, but there's a lot of moisture in the plaster, especially when you first mix it and you're making your molds. And then when you have to stick them down, I had to use a thin layer of plaster on the wood itself to get these to adhere to it. And by doing so, it actually warped my base pretty bad, the actual wood base. So I had to buy some. Oh, I actually didn't buy them. I had them already, but I had these little furniture pads, and you can kind of see the curvature of that right there. It's pretty well bent. And so the stress of that warping also created cracks that I had to fill. So it took about a week for me to finally get a piece that wasn't going to crack anymore. It was done bending. It was done warping, and then it was just about applying the color. And there's three or four different colors of dry pigments, not pastels, but pigments. I got some, you see the lighter color here is actually a white and black that I mixed up to make a gray. And then I used two types of brown and some really, and then a brush, and just dry brushed them on there into the grooves and basically made a nice blend. So that's going to go with me, but it should look nice. It's a little bit brighter on camera than it is in person. It does look like these light areas are pretty bright, but they're actually just a subtle kind of a gray. But yeah, that way, once I get to California, then I can put the model on the rod, is inserted in here, and then put the rest of the accessories on them and go from there. So I'm going to set this aside, and then I'll get on to the next step, what we're doing today. All right. So I'm taking two kits with me to California, I'll be taking the Hi Nu Heavy Weapons HWS, and then I'm also taking my Star Wars, my diorama, the Star Wars, my Mandalorian Season 1, Episode 8, Baby Yoda Grogu. I'll be taking that one with me as well. So all that stuff's already packed, ready to go in a plastic container. So I can take it as a carry-on box and put it in the overhead. So it should be fine. But so let's get on to the base here. What I'm doing, I've painted these. This is one of the wall sections that goes on the backdrop of the base. And originally I started to paint this. In fact, you can see a little bit right here. I started to paint these struts the same color. I was just going to do it all one color. And then I got the idea it would be nicer to have a little bit of color separation. So I changed that in mid painting. I decided to just paint the background of these and then do this in a darker color, slightly darker than the walls, but not as dark as the bottom, as the floor. And I'll show you that here. So this is the back wall, of course, and then you can see these are just pre-shaded black. That's why they're very dark, but they're going to be a little bit lighter in color when I'm done. So here's the floor. This is the floor piece. And as you can see, all those little cleats are also painted. Each one of those intersect points has one of those tie-down cleats. And I have to clear coat this and also panel line it and everything. I haven't done that yet. Of course, it's not weathered for sure, but steel plates in a hangar, there's going to be some imperfections and stuff, so I'm really not concerned about the finish so much, but I will weather this quite a bit. It'll look like there's a lot of traffic going on in there. So that's the floor, and then you've got the back wall, which is going to go here, and then the side walls. But basically what I'm doing today, I'll set this aside, is I want to take this and make it look like this. This has already been masked off, all the gray portions that I don't want painted. I'm actually going to go back over this too and hit these with some more black to pre-shade them again, because as I got some overspray from my gray onto them, they've lightened them up quite a bit. So I'm going to end up covering those, spray them again, make sure I got that pre-shade on there. But so that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to do some masking. I know it's kind of a boring subject. Sometimes it takes a long time, but if you don't have one of these, I recommend getting one or making one. Some people make their own out of glass. This is a glass masking tape cutting mat, for lack of a better term, I guess. But it's made by God Hand. It has a pre-painted centimeter grid. You can see underneath it. And so it's nice to be able to put your masking tape on different widths, different types. So you can see some here. I got some pretty wide. This is about 1.5 inches, and then about 1 inch or so, 3/4, and then some 3 millimeter tape here. So I usually just put a bunch of strips on, and as I'm working, I can just cut them off as I go. One of the things you should have when you're trying to do this type of work is a really sharp, freshly sharp razor blade. You don't want to be using a dull one. Anytime you're cutting masking tape, it'll have a tendency to bunch up if it's not sharp, So I'm using these X-Acto X-Life number 11s, and I bought one package of these on Amazon, and this is like 100 blades in here, and they'll last forever. They're really super durable. It's just a standard X-Acto knife type shape, but they have a kind of a bluish color, you can see. and they do last quite a bit longer. The edge seems to last better than just normal, cheapo X-Acto blades. So it's worth the investment. You buy one, it might seem expensive at the time, but in the long run, you're going to save money on supplies, especially. So you bought some back at the same time. Oh yeah, you did, didn't you? That's right. James and I think we were both buying some of those supplies back then. I found out about it. Actually, Matt Morozic in Texas was the guy that told me about him. He was using them and he recommended them. I've been happy with them. I haven't had been not disappointed at all. So yeah, years ago. That's right. Well, I've only been in Washington for 6 years, so it's probably at least 3 or 4 because I didn't buy them until I don't think. Well, actually, you know what? I might have bought them. No, I think it was up here. Couldn't have been in California. It had to be up here. But anyway, I guess that doesn't matter. So I got my cutting mat. I've got some tape on here already. I'm just going to start blocking out these areas and going around the perimeter to get all this sectioned off, and then I can use some larger pieces to cover up the most. And that's exactly what I did here. Is I've just got some of the thinner pieces around the edges, and then I use this big stuff just to block it off, and then I'm good to paint again. So, and then of course I've got to do the same thing with this whole back wall piece because I want all this to be this gray. This is going to be a little bit darker. In fact, what I got here, this is 331 Mr. Color, and it's specifically it's dark sea gray. This is what I use for the floor. So the entire floor is that color. The back wall is 324. Okay, and that is light gray, and that's a flat color. And then what I'm doing for the structural beams and stuff is going to be in 317, which is also a flat gray, but it's slightly darker. You can see the two side by side. So that's what I wanted, just a little bit of color separation, something that looks nice. And then I'm going to do all these electrical panels, maybe in the same 317 gray. I haven't decided yet, but I want to make sure they kind of stand out a little bit because when I get to doing decals and whatever, I want to put some warning labels and things on those, and want them to be able to pop a little bit. Maybe some white decals from Mecca decals. Use some of those, and then the roof panel here too. So, excuse me. All the way around, we'll have 6 LEDs on the roof here. 2 of them pointing in from the sides, 2 at like a 45, and then 2 right here in the center of the roof. You can see those. So anyway, let's get started. I'm going to just set these other pieces aside so they're not in the way. I'll get going. Get my magnifiers on because I can't see. I'm old. I found it easier, especially with doing these areas, because there's kind of an angle here. I don't know if you can see it. As it dips down along these edges here, there's an angle. So it's easier to get the thinner tapes down into that groove. I tried it earlier with some of this 3/4 inch, roughly 3/4 inch. It was a lot harder to get down in there just because the tape wants to curl a little bit, and then you're trying to stuff it down into a groove. So it's easier just to cut off some pieces here. I use my little ruler, and I can make precise cuts and straight cuts. So, but the first thing I'm going to do is get some short pieces because I got kind of a complex angle right here around most of these little struts and stuff. So I'm just going to cut some short pieces that I can put in here and come right up to where this angle changes, and then I can put another piece of my wider tape right up next to that, and that will completely seal that corner off nicely, and it won't have to worry about any overspray. So to do that, I'm just using a couple of 5mm short pieces, and then they'll overlap slightly, but at least there won't be any chance of any overspray coming through. So I'm just going to cut some short pieces here. I'm using that grid on the glass plate as a guide. Like I said, it's in centimeters, so it's all 10 millimeter squares that you basically have, and there's actually some angles here too if you wanted to cut some angles. It's really a nice little investment. Some of these things tend to cost quite a bit of money, but it sure does make it easier than trying to use a dispenser. I mean, I've tried using a tape dispenser. I remember buying one time from a vendor somewhere, one of the model events or something that we went to. And I was just so frustrated with it. It was such a piece of crap. Another thing I have is this little burnishing tool. This is a rubber tip. You can see here a little flexibility, but it's got some. It's flexible, but still a little bit firm, so you can put some pressure on it, and it's good for doing stuff like this because I can get in and not worry about scratching my paint, and I can just press that tape down into a groove and keep going. I don't have to use that every single time, but I'll put a few pieces down and then make sure that gets into the groove nicely, and make sure all my seams are lined up so I don't have an odd looking overlap. I always want my lines to be straight. So I added Twitch to my stream tonight, so we'll see how that goes. What's funny is I didn't realize I'd already had a Twitch account. So I created a new one, not realizing I'd already had one. And I couldn't figure out why it wouldn't, I wasn't getting my email notifications. I was trying to set it up, and then it's because I already had one. And the reason the username that I had chosen was already taken was because it was my old account it was taken from. So got that all sorted out. I disabled the other account, got it all switched up. So now we're going to try that platform too and see how that goes. Originally, I thought Twitch was pretty much just for gaming type streaming, but apparently there's quite a few artists on there doing gunpla and stuff. So why not? What? Who is Shauna? Oh, that's Shauna. Oh, I gotcha. Okay, 1 second, guys. I gotta answer this real quick. I'm just gonna make a quick little response to this. I had an appointment tomorrow, and early, kind of like 9:30 in the morning, and because I got tomorrow off, but my appointment is with this girl, and she's asking me if I could change the appointment time. I'm trying to get my hair cut. I didn't realize it was her, so I'm just letting her know it's okay to change the time. So I'm just going up to these corners here with my masking tape. This is 3 millimeter, and I'm stopping right at where that compound angle meets at the top, because that way I can put another piece along. See, by getting this angle here, I can put another piece straight across right on that corner, and it'll mask it off perfectly, and I don't have to worry about cutting any excess off. There's no overlap or anything there. Yeah. Just two at a time without having to measure it precisely. I mean, it's just easier. You cut out, you got a little bit of overlap, a little bit of waste there, but I think another thing to consider too is when you're doing this kind of masking, or any kind of masking for that matter, is good quality tape. Because I've bought cheap tape before thinking I'm saving money by buying bulk or something like that. And ultimately you end up just throwing it away because it's garbage. You know, some of this stuff I bought was good, like 3mm. I've got some 2mm tape as well in rolls like this. These are fairly large rolls to start. And that was actually pretty good, the 2 and 3mm stuff I had. And I've even got some 1mm tape. But I bought some like 5 and 6mm tape too from some Chinese seller, you know, or something. And it is just garbage. And so you end up throwing more of it away than you using it. So, I mean, if I was to say recommend something, why not get, buy Tamiya tape? I know it's expensive, but your results are going to be consistent every time. You're never going to have a problem with it. It sticks well for the application that we use it for. It doesn't take your paint off. Typically, I mean, obviously, if you're painting on resin, sometimes that's just a characteristic of resin, where if you don't have it clean enough, your mold release will sometimes allow the paint to lift when you pull tape off. But typically on plastic stuff, especially because I'm using Mr. Color lacquers, they're very durable paints, I don't have any problems with paint lifting. Yeah, you do. You get what you pay for. It's one of those things. You definitely get what you pay for. So I need 4 more. I'll take care of all the angles, and then I can start doing the longer bits here. Just placing these ever so gently in there. There we go. 2 down. 3 and 6mm to me are standard, but use frog tape for larger. Frog tape, I'm not familiar with that. Is that? I think I've heard of it, but I've never used it. How is that? Is it like is it still a masking tape, or is it a different material? George. Hey, what up, Julio? How you doing, buddy? Thanks for joining in. Finally got one of my other brothers online here. So just spending a Sunday afternoon doing some building. Crepe tape. I always had no problem with bouncing around. A problem with it bouncing around. I'm not sure what you mean. Let me put that on screen. So let me know what you're talking about. Maybe I missed one of your comments or something. I always have problems with it bouncing around. You talking about tape? Hey, what up, Kodo Kai? How you doing, buddy? Good to see you. Good to see everybody. Thanks for hanging out with me on a nice Sunday afternoon. Could be evening for you guys if you're East Coast, like Julio and George. Could be morning, depending on where you're at, right? All right, so I got all my little angles in the corners done. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I think I measured, let's see here, it's about 2 inches. 2 inches of tape or so. That should take up all my deep areas here. One moment. Let's see here. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, no, she's fine. Yeah. No problem. I just had to reschedule my haircut for tomorrow. Okay, so I'm going to cut a few pieces of 2-inch tape off here. I need 4 total. So 2 inches is roughly 5 centimeters, which is probably fine. So I'm going to go ahead and just hit that at 5. And then I'll hit 2 more over this longer piece that I already have here. 4, 5, and 5. There. Brian hooked me up. Hey, Brian, where? Oh, is Brian Kodokai? Is that who we're talking about? I'm sorry, I don't know everybody's screen names. Nichiban washi tape is my ultimate ultimate fave. But the crepe tape is my workhorse. All right, cool. This is all news to me. I mean, I guess you use what's good and you keep using it. Some people make a find and they just, they keep using it. But it's nice to hear new ideas and stuff like that. I don't think I've ever tried the Nichiban tape. Is that something you can find on, like, say, like Harbor Lake, Japan, or something like that? Stressing over SCGMC. Why are you stressing over SCGMC? Are you trying to get something finished before SCGMC? I mean, that would be the only reason to stress over it, I think. So I got these 2-inch pieces here that I'm just tucking in. Oops, I pulled that one too far. I'm tucking down into this groove now to get my borders all taken care of. No stress. You're not going to win anyway. Yeah, great words of encouragement, Julio. Oh, good God. By the way, are you going, Julio? Are you going this year? I know a few years back when I went, you were there. I met you for the first time in person. Gosh darn it. I keep pulling a little too hard. I'm trying to get this piece, and then I gotta, once I get one side set, I gotta tack it down so it doesn't move. There we go. This is true. I'm okay with that. Just want to make a decent showing. That's true too. Anymore, I remember years ago, it was all about, I gotta win, or whatever. But now it's just, I go for the camaraderie mostly. To competitions, if I can help some of the younger folks improve their skill set and step outside their comfort zone a little bit, and it's fun to see. I mean, don't get me wrong, I still like to win, but it's not all about that, you know what I mean? When Mike moved up to Seattle, I stopped entering content and just started judging. Come on, James. When's the last time you actually completed a Gundam kit? I mean, you do minis now, and most of your mini stuff is amazing. So, you're in a different league as far as that's concerned. I just remember when I went to Securicon, you guys told me, you got to bring the Valkyrie. And I said, okay, just be careful what you ask for, because you know what's going to show up. And then I went to Securicon, I brought the Valkyrie, and they were like, oh, we really can't let you win because all these other people paid to get their ticket. I was invited in as a guest because I was putting on a demo on scratch building, or actually modification, scratch building and plot plate modification. And so you guys were telling me, oh yeah, we can't let you win now because these guys actually paid to get in, and I was like, wait a minute, I paid to get in. I put on a 2-hour demo for free. I didn't get paid for that. I thought that was funny. Finished, been a while. I'm working on heavy arms though. Okay, well, good. I'd like to see that. So this is the starting to the Kodo kid. That's awesome. Yeah. So we'll see what happens this go around. I think it's safe to say, I mean, I've been trying to kind of keep it a secret, but I've been hinting at it about going to SCGMC. So all the work I did on that Hi Nu base was specifically for going to California. So I guess to answer the question is yes. I will be at SCGMC this year. My tickets are paid for. My rental car is paid for. I'm coming in Friday night. We're going to spend the night down at the Dana Point Harbor in the marina where we're staying at the Marina Inn. We're going to drink some Mai Tais and enjoy. And then I'll get up early Saturday, drive out, probably meet Dan Salas, and we will go from there. So what I've done here is I've just kind of done my corners. You can see on the edges there, that's the hardest part to get to. And now I'm going to block out all these little pieces around here. Keep working. Garbage, they screwed a lot of us. Who screwed a lot of you? Am I missing something here? You talking about GBWC? Because that's not what we're talking about. GBWC is a whack job. I'm not into that at all anymore. When I started seeing it turned into more of a, to me anyway, I can only speak for myself, turned into more of an art exhibit than it did a mech or a model competition. It basically just turned into who could make the best piece of artwork put on a magazine cover. It's unfortunate because I really enjoy that. I really enjoyed those years of going to Anime Expo. I got close in 15. I got third place in North America, so I got close. Never did quite make it. But it is what it is. So, now I feel like if I ever had an opportunity to, if I ever had a chance, it would be, you'd have to make something that I'd have to go out of what my style is. I'd have to make something that I'm not used to making, I guess, because I don't do that kind of flashy. I've always believed that Gundams are 60-foot war machines, gritty, tough, dirty, not these, not something that looks like a fairy tale. So when I build, I base it off, I do my builds that way. Weathered, I think weathered builds don't often get as much, they're harder to, I don't know, it's harder to win, I think, with a weathered build. Anyway, yes, that's how I felt about it. Said, gee, like the win. I had to make something I didn't really like. Yeah, that's exactly what I said. I didn't even realize you'd said the same thing right before I said it. The kit bash with Gundam Warhammer Demon. Oh, that'd be kind of interesting. I'd like to see that, James. It's about the look. Yeah, that's right. It's definitely about the look. So I'm just going around these corner pieces here, getting more. Basically, just doing all the perimeters, and then I'll fill in the inside at the end. It's kind of like painting a room. You start with the borders, start with the trim work, and then you work your way in. Once you get all that done, then you can actually paint the walls, do the rest of it. So I'm actually going to hit some more of these angles. I forgot when I did the other side, I needed to fill in a little bit here on each corner just to make it easier when it comes time to seal off those edges. So I'll come back and get those in just a sec. I got 2 more of these corners to do. Yeah. Oops, that one is all crooked as hell. Come on now. There we go. Well, almost. That's better. All right. Almost done there. I'm with my rather than beaten repaired machines of war. Yeah, you know, I mean, I guess to each his own, but it just felt like it was more of a, it was no longer a model contest. It was what was flashy, that's what won, you know. It wasn't like my first, the one that I almost got when I got 3rd place in 15, that was Officer Down. It was a city diorama. I had 3 real grade kits on that diorama. I had 2 real grade Zaku's and a real grade RX-78. And I even put LEDs in them. I had LEDs in the buildings. They were flicker LEDs that looked like buildings with damaged lighting and stuff. They were flickering randomly, not blinking, just, you know, flickering. And I had a couple of, like, I had a light on a loading dock that was flickering, and used a lot of N-scale railroad stuff for the environment, you know, to add to that, add to the way that looked. And even had some little N-scale shopping carts that I had used, little photo etch shopping carts that I had to build. And yeah, that I mean, it was amazing, but it's not what they want to see. You know, they want, that was the first time I really got to see, because I saw this kit from Canada. I actually Canada got 2nd that year. Nothing against the Canada builders, but I did see what this guy, you know, the entry that was placed, and I was just like, are you kidding me? You know? It was a rough one. It was rough. Let's see. I guess that plus the fact that the Gundam project I've been most invested in for years is scratch built, and GBC has to be a kit. Oh, so you can't even do scratch build anymore. Is that why a lot of people got DQ'd this year for various reasons? Was because of scratch build stuff? I mean, I understand their thought on 3D printing, I mean, it used to be allowed like a certain percentage of stuff that you had to be an original kit, because obviously at the end of the day they're still trying to make money, and they still want to be able to sell model kits, and you can't be 3D printing everything. But yeah, I don't know. I just heard a lot of people getting disqualified, and I don't even know the reasons why. Some of them were apparently pretty bad, pretty ridiculous, but or at least no explanation given. Let's put it that way. You can do scratch build, but technically there's supposed to be a kit in there somewhere. Yeah, that's right. It's what hit Ethan. What happened with Ethan, James? I'm curious, because I didn't hear about that. Get this one little piece here. So we're still just applying tape here, trying to get this piece masked off so I can do some more painting to it. They claim the kit wasn't Gundam. Now I'm really curious. It's too bad we can't put photos up here. I'd like to see what he entered. Wow. That's nuts. Wasn't Gundam. I mean, did he start with a base Gundam kit? I guess that would be the big question. If you started with a base Gundam kit, then I don't know. It just seems like more and more of a shit show. And I guess until they get back to actually doing live competitions again, maybe that'll get better. There's all Gundam kits he bashed, yeah. Yeah. See, that's just it. And of course, you can't rebut it. I think once the decision's made, all decisions are final. It's like, what do you do? What do you do? Hey James, you'll have to shoot me a message or something with a picture of that. I'd like to see what he entered. I'm really curious now. Because like I said, I've heard a lot about the disqualifications going on, but I've not seen firsthand what it is that was being disqualified. I'm curious, because not that it's going to change my opinion on entering, but I'm just curious, from a modeler standpoint, what it is that was getting disqualified. Because you got to admit, things have changed pretty drastically over the last 10 years or so, with the advent of 3D printers, more and more stuff being printed in resin. And now I hear there's liquid metal printers out there. I mean, maybe not in the commercial market yet, but that's going to be some crazy stuff. So yeah, they got to keep if they're going to keep doing the same kind of competition, they've got to be able to keep some kind of a lid on that. But it's all bullshit, man. Yeah, Julio, don't hold back. Tell us how you really feel. So you guys let me know too. I don't have to do this solo either. If you guys want to join in one of these nights, we can set it up and have a couple people on. Keep it small. Do some talk about some subject matter, whatever you want to talk about. I know you guys, I know Julio, and they do themselves a podcast now, so I don't want to distract from that, from their thunder there, but it'd be kind of nice, you know, do some streaming again with a few folks on. MIG torch and a CNC router table. Yeah, that's a 3D printer, all right. Yep. You are correct, sir. I like that meme. You know, for those of us that are in the auto repair industry, there was a meme out there I saw the other day. It was basically a picture of a little handheld ratchet, you know, and it says, "Please come loose," you know, and then they show it. The next picture is a little bit larger one, you know. I really want you to come loose, and then it shows a 1/2-inch breaker bar. I wasn't asking, you know, and then you get down to the end, and it just says, there's a torch, and it just says, it can't be tight when it's a liquid. You know. So yeah, it definitely can't be tight if you make it a liquid. It's what we call a heat wrench in the industry. Let's see here. I think I'm going to need quite a few more here. Just working right along. Not exactly the most exciting subject, masking. In some cases, it's everybody's least favorite thing. Yeah, it is. It is kind of mine too. I mean, this isn't as bad because I'm able to use large pieces, but you can imagine doing some of these projects where you're just masking tiny, you know, details, and it's, oh god, it's hell for sure. That's why they call it masking hell, but this isn't too bad. I've got one more edge to do here, then I can fill in this area, then I got to get this big area filled out, but that will all be done with mostly large pieces. Yeah. Use my burnishing tool to kind of push all these down when I'm done. Make sure they're good and tight so don't get any overspray underneath. There we go. Okay. I bought all this stuff, most of this stuff on Amazon. Like I found this on Amazon, that kit. This was also a kit. Actually, Tim Harkins, his Amazon, not his Amazon store, but he has a list of Amazon items that he's gotten over the years, and it's a kit of these little burnishing tools, and they're kind of nice, quite nice actually. The hammer saw. It's a hammer saw. Damn, it sounds aggressive. I don't know if I need that for what I do. But I don't know. I work on Subarus. They can be kind of rusty. Sometimes maybe I need a hammer saw. I don't know. It's been Brian holding a hammer. It's just Brian holding a hammer in the saw. Oh god, that's funny. You talking about Bro Builder? That Brian or a different Brian? Speaking of which, I haven't seen him in a while either. All right, so I got all these little, basically got the borders all outlined. Kind of see that focus. There we go, a little bit better view. So I got that all done. Now I can just fill in the areas. But what I'm going to do next is I'm going to run down this line and across the back here, and then I can just tape off all this. So a few more pieces of this 3/4 tape here, and then I'll be able to break out the big stuff and just run one piece across the whole length of it. It keeps popping my phone. Who is doing that? Okay. Yeah. Oh, that's James. Oh, that was his? I saw this. They said it's not Gundam? Are you kidding me? That's all Zaku Warrior. How could they... Oh my God. That got DQ'd because it said it wasn't Gundam. And the entire kit is Zaku Warrior. How is that possible? And there's actually more than one kit on there too. It's not just the one, but holy crap. That's unbelievable. Renac contention. Oh, you are Kodo. See, I don't know your guys' screen name. You're bro builder to me, dude. Didn't know you decided to change up on me. Sorry about that. Excuse me for not knowing. Yeah. So why'd you change your name, bud? Is that what the police report said you had to do, or what? I don't know. Just kidding. I'm just making it up now. So this is actually, it's going to all be covered up. Changed it back in 19. What? What the hell was I? I know, I still love you too, Brian, but hell. I'm making pretty good money now. Maybe I need to buy that GPO 1 back from you. I'm kidding. I am lost. See, this is what happens when you guys don't do live streaming for a while, and I have to start my own. I'm talking every single day. I probably would have known that, but now we're not talking to each other as much as we used to. So here we are. Yeah, I know. I did too, but it was one of those things I could never see myself getting around to. I was just like, I don't know if I'm ever going to build this, you know? So that's why I decided to let it go. 2 3/4, 3, 4 inches. It would be a hard thing to part with. Yeah, no, I'm not asking you to, but trust me. Believe me, it's yours now. You keep it. I know you threw it out there when I was selling it. but I'll never get around to building it. Not gonna happen. I mean, shit. I still got a big PG Falcon in there that I'm, for myself that I'm supposed to try to build. I don't know if I'm ever going to get around to building that. I've got a 1/2 scale BB-8. I haven't even gotten near. I might do that. I think I'm going to do that in an anime paint scheme though. That would be interesting, wouldn't it? So now that I got the majority of the border done here, I'm just blocking in all the larger areas now. All right. You couldn't have changed that name back in 19. Well, maybe on YouTube. Let's say, because you've been Bro Builder we've been doing live streams longer than that. It just kind of blows me away. Anytime we run with Tim, you're always Bro Builder. What the hell? My wife's down there banging on something. Shit, Mike. I have one plus his resin kit. You can see. This is James trying to work me again. See, let's see how many commissions have I done for him based on. He'll be like, "Oh, you can do this for me." Oh, well, all right. And here I am. James. I love you, James. How's Andrea doing? She's doing good. She got that next video game done yet? All right, time to bust out the big stuff here. Yeah, I know you paid me. I know. I didn't say I did it for free. Definitely didn't do it for free. Yes, sir. I enjoyed those, though. Warhammer stuff is kind of cool. It was fun. Because it's different, It's not like stuff I'm used to doing. So it was kind of cool. Although, you do get spoiled by nice modern kits that at least have decent molds like Hasegawa and Bandai, but some of that stuff that Warhammer or War Game products, whatever you want to call it, some of the stuff they put out is not the best mold quality. Although I understand they are getting better, but she's sitting here laughing and this next time. Yeah. Yes, that is true. The things we do for a Halo Edition Xbox. Sometimes it's not what you know, it's who you know. Just saying. Right? Right. So I'm speeding up here a little bit because I got most of the harder stuff done. It's just a matter of blocking out the bigger stuff in the middle here. Filling in some of the smaller bits. Yeah. So anyway, Julio, did you answer me? Are you going to California this next month? I don't know if you did or not. Ah, damn it. Put that down. So I know what George is working on. I know what James is kind of working on. What else is going on? Who else? Julio, what kind of project you got going? Not sure, as I should say, what you've been working on lately. Okay. Oops. You know what? I should put one more. Just right there. Julio, answer the question. All right, now I can cut some big pieces here. So this is, if I measure this right, roughly 2 inches by 2 by 2. It's not quite 2, so I'm going to have to do this in strips. I guess we'll just do 2 millimeters, or 2 centimeters, I should say. Maybe double up. Hopefully that will do it. Guess we're going to find out. Nope. There's a little bit left over there. Yeah, I'm gonna need a few more. Some small strips here. Let's see, maybe two of these ought to do it. I like using the straight edge rather than tearing tape off, especially like using a dispenser, because you get some nice clean edges, and then you're always going to have a straight edge that you can put down somewhere on, if you're doing a border or something, or up close to a piece. You want to make sure, since I've got a tiny little piece there, I just need a small one here just to cover that up. There, that's done. So Julio, you still there, bud? Too busy smoking a reefer. I mean, I think I know the answer to that question. But I don't know what you're working on. I'm just curious what you're working on. Yeah. George, I know you finished, or at least did you finish scribing that Lance? I tried to watch most of it this morning. I think I saw you pull the tape. You were pretty much done scribing. You were just going to start the cleanup work, if I'm not mistaken. One more tiny piece right there. Okay. There. That takes care of those. So let me see. Now we're moving right along here. The tape's kind of bright, but all I got left is this big block here, and we're good to go. So I can just cut some random pieces here and lay them down. I don't really have to be too precise with this, because it's just large coverage areas. 4 main lines are done. Haven't started cleanup. Secondary. Oh, that's right, because you got those little stars or little. That's right. I think I remember that. Little star patterns or something that you're going to be. You got to drill some holes or put some little scribing marks on there. I mean, I got to hand it to you, man. That's a lot more effort than I think I'd put into it. And you're just doing some crazy ass work. I mean, I guess we're all a bit crazy, right? So I'm gonna need some more big tape here. I'm running out of coverage. Oops. Definitely didn't go down right. Okay. One more big piece ought to do it. So we'll start right there. Yeah. Heck, maybe I'll see you tomorrow morning, George. I don't know. I'm off tomorrow, but looks like my appointment time got changed, so I may not be getting up as early as I thought I would. Like I said, it's always fun to watch and listen to your stream while I'm getting ready in the morning. Kind of use it like a podcast a little bit. If I can't watch the screen, at least I can listen what's going on. Basement flood. Oh no. You had a basement flood? Oh crap. That sucks. Hopefully none of your, I mean, was all your backlog back there, down there? Is that where all that stuff was? It got wet? I hope not, man. You did it stupid. No, he didn't. He just said, he used the 2 words cool down kit. And that's what happened. So you never call it a cool down, because then everybody's going to make you do rivets and shit. It's no longer a cool down kit. That's awesome. I thought it was funny this morning listening to one of your listeners ask you that. So what's your cooldown for this cooldown? Had one about 5 years, trashed my workspace, haven't really recovered. Oh God! And now you got another one. No property is saved. Just vacuum. Man. Oh boy. Yeah, we've got wildfires around here right now, and that was one of the things we were not now, because we finally started getting some rain, but we were on a evacuation watch list. It wasn't that we weren't told to leave yet, but it's like, okay, you guys, you might have to go at any moment, so stay close to home, kind of thing. And we knew the fire wasn't too terribly close, so I wasn't overly concerned. But one of the questions my wife asked me, she's like, what are you going to take with you? You're going to grab your model kits. And I wanted to say, yeah, I got to grab this, but to be honest, I'm like, yeah, you know what? If my ass is on fire, I'm not thinking about model kits. I know some of the stuff is pretty rare, but at the end of the day, it's just a model kit, and it's not a life. It's replaceable versus being here trying to go down with a sinking ship. I'm not doing that. Definitely not. So, and ultimately, we didn't have to go anywhere. They still have. I mean, there was still a bunch of smoke and stuff for weeks. It still hasn't fully gone away. But let's see. but we had some rain last couple days, and just the air quality massively improved. I mean, we had air quality indexes up in the high 200s. It was so bad for a while, just horrible. Okay, so success. Now I have these two pieces done, the side walls. Now I can go back and reshoot the black, do my pre-shading again, shoot the black back over these. I'm going to put something right on the edge there. There's a piece really close to the edge. I don't want it to get any overspray on it, so I'm just going to hit it with another. There we go. So now I can go back and reshoot my black pre-shade, and those will be ready to paint and go down on the kit. Now I've got this nightmare. This is up next. Pop the roof off. I'll just set those other two halves aside. This piece can come off. Okay, yeah, see, this is already painted. Just needs to be clear coated. I'll have two wide angle LEDs in that. And I actually tested, now that I've got some color on it, I tested the LED brightness to see, and I think it's going to look nice because they're not super bright, but because the way this is set up with the back wall, so I'll put it here. See, so imagine the floor out here with just a little bit of light lighting up the back of the Valkyrie, so it'll kind of accent what's going on. But I wanted to use a color that wasn't as dark. I almost used the same color as the Valkyrie, and then I thought that would be stupid. You got a jet painted the same color as the back wall. It's just going to blend in, and I didn't think that would work. So went with a lighter color. I'm going to use a little bit of a darker gray to paint these, and maybe these access panels too. Probably be the same color. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. I'm going to do these first. I'll mask all these off, but I'll paint these first and see what it looks like. If you had to run, I'd give you my Vox at least. Yeah. Yeah, I know. I'd take the 120 with me. That's about all I'd run with. Throw it in the back seat. It's a good one in the back seat. So I guess 7:30. It's almost 7:30. We can hold off on this and chit chat for a few before we get ready to sign off here. Had a lot more people tune in tonight. I really, really appreciate it. It's very encouraging to have all you guys on here and talking with my friends and doing some building with you guys. Really helps. It helps the mind, and the soul. So they do with retarder levels in the premix. Oh no. Yeah, that's a bummer. I've not used retarders before in any of the paints I've used. I don't know. Maybe I don't know if I have to use retarders with Mr. Color or not, but I have heard them being used in the past. I just haven't actually tried using them. What kind of paints do you necessarily need to use retarders for? Is it a certain type of acrylic or lacquer? Or is it a drying time thing? Oh, thanks, George. Yeah, it is a terrific way to end your weekend. And my weekend too, but I'm off tomorrow, so it's my last 2-day weekend. I gotta go next. I'll have next Sunday off, and I go back to Monday through Friday, so I'll be back with weekends off. So water based acrylics. Oh, okay. So that's what you use it retarders for. Does that help slow the drying time? I'm assuming. Is that what that means? Because I honestly don't own any, so I'm not sure how that works. But yeah, interesting. So I got my three base colors ready to go. As soon as I finish masking that back wall, I can paint those pieces, and then I still have to paint or finish painting the high voltage cart and the nitrogen cart, and I got to paint the step ladders and the walkways, stuff like that. Dry cure irregularities. Oh, okay. Huh. Nice. Well, one of these days, maybe I'll have to use that stuff. I just haven't had to. I think I'm pretty exclusive with Mr. Hobby stuff, Mr. Color. I mean, as soon as I used it, the very first time I bought my first 148 scale Hasegawa Valkyrie, and I decided to buy the Mr. Colors that I needed to make that kit, because I was using Tamiya stuff exclusively for years and hand painting with it, just horrible stuff. And then I bought an airbrush and I started doing that, and then I finally bought the Mr. Color stuff. I was sold. That was it. I mean, I do use some of the some of this stuff. I found that these clear coats from the guy notes stuff's amazing. Yeah, it's super cool. I love that stuff. Anywho, I'm gonna wrap this up and call it an episode. Call it a night. So thank you everyone so much for hanging out with me, doing what we do. Be good humans. If you like what you see, please subscribe. It only helps me continue to do this art form and try to share it with everybody. Oh, you are going to be there. Yeah, nice. We'll see you. We'll see you in Cali. And good night, George. Oh, you just got here. Well, that's too bad, buddy. You gotta show up at 6 p.m. when I started. Sorry, Angel. Sorry, man. But we'll catch you next time. Next Sunday, every Sunday. If all things work out, we'll do it every Sunday, same time, 6 p.m. Pacific. And we'll keep moving forward on the Valkyrie here. Hopefully be done shortly. So talk to you guys later. Have a great night. We'll see you next time.